Today, a comment came in under one of the videos, I don't remember which one, and a concerned aunt was writing about her 16-year-old nephew. And she says that over the course of the past year, she's noticed that a couple of this kid's uncles have waged a campaign where at every family gathering for, summer barbecues, for two weddings, for New Year's, for the Easter dinner, any kind of family event, these uncles are on this kid to cheat on his girlfriend. They're teasing him about having the same girlfriend for all that time. Now, I have a lot to say on this topic, and it's really hard for me to even organize my thoughts because I really want to just figure out where these dudes live and just send somebody to Guido and them to beat their ass. But what we have to remember here as adults, yes, we've been around the block. Yes, we know the likelihood of these young people's relationship lasting happily ever after is slim. But that's not the point. The point is, this is this little boy's first love. It's his little girlfriend's first love. And when we all reflect back on the magic of first loves, there's nothing like it. Never, ever, ever again will we love in such an open, untainted, giving, and just like stardust in your eyes style. Everybody deserves to have that experience at least once in their lifetime. What these uncles are doing is trying to take that away from him and from the little girl. Because what's going to happen is if this kid succumbs to their pressure and he breaks her heart, she leaves him. Not only is her heart going to be broken and her trust in men and love damaged, his will be as well, because he'll feel betrayed by his uncles that he listened to them, and they're supposed to be the people watching out for him and guiding him to manhood. When you have old ass fucked up in the head mental retarded dudes like these uncles that this poor kid has, what you have are people that have a twisted view of manhood. In their mind, a man is measured by how much pussy he's gotten. There's no greater accomplishment for them than how many women they've laid. This little boy obviously has higher aspirations for himself and his dick than to be worried about sticking it in a bunch of different holes as a measure of his manhood and a measure of his character. What these dudes, and I've said this before on several videos where people talk about, well, this and that happens because single mothers, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I keep trying to get people to understand, unless a woman keeps a boy in a cage and with soundproof room where nobody else can get to him, once he gets out in the world around other men, that's where he gets fucked up. It's not because of what his mother's teaching him. She's teaching him the right thing. Like with this kid, obviously he's learning the right thing. And in this relationship, he's happy, she's happy, and they're learning how to love each other. They're learning how to be in a relationship. They're learning how to be a couple. These are all valuable skills that you take with you to college and into adulthood and into your marriage. You learn how to do it by having a solid, loving relationship that's protected by the adults around you so that you, don't get in too deep. You know what I mean? You don't want your kid becoming a stalker or, flipping out and becoming suicidal if the relationship should get on the rocks. But you also don't want to interfere in them kind of exploring those feelings and learning how to be attached to people in healthy ways. That's what parenting is. You're supposed to be teaching that. You just sit down with your kids and you guide them on how to have a healthy relationship and how to interact well with people, how to show respect, how to give and receive love. That is what the purpose is of teen dating. And I'll do a whole video on that. I'll probably do a seminar on it sometime in the future, because there's a lot to cover and a lot of people really don't know what they're supposed to be teaching their teens before they let them go out and have a quote boyfriend or girlfriend. But this little kid, he seems like he's on the right track, and I really am worried about these uncles, this negative influence of these fool ass relatives of his, and the garbage that they're putting in his head. The other thing that we have to understand is, they very well could be jealous. Now, when you have, the kid, he's obviously got something going on, so where the little girl wants to be with him for a year. I mean, that doesn't happen. At that age, they break up like just because the wind blew from north to south instead of east to west. So the fact that they've been together for a year says something a lot. It really says a lot about him and his character. And I think that these dudes, being still single, at their whatever age they are, and still haunting and bothering a 16-year-old teenager about his girlfriend and taunting him and teasing him and trying to make him feel bad for having someone that he loves. I mean, these are some evil ass old troll ass fucks. That's what they are. And they don't want him to be happy because they're not. Typical crabs in a barrel trying to pull him down. And once a dude, I don't know, it's what they're trying to do is get him to replace the love and the trust and the adoration and the joy that he has in his little relationship with their standard of what a quote relationship would be about, which is basically nothing. Basically, you go through life just sticking your dick in places, and then at the end of it, you're an old man all alone and living in a nursing home somewhere with nobody to come and visit you. That's what they're trying to set this little boy up so he will be like them. And I really applaud this aunt for noticing, because a lot of people don't pay much attention to boys. You know what I mean? They all focus on the girls. And this little boy needs protection from some sane relatives in his family, just like a girl would. So my suggestion is, I'm not sure which relative. I mean, are you a relative of the daddy of this boy, or are you a relative of the mother? But if you can, approach the mom, tell her what you've noticed, and you guys sit down and devise a plan. My suggestion is that you sit down with this little boy and you tell him that you've noticed what has been going on. You want to encourage him. Say, this is a test of yourself as a young man, because a man's word is his bond. You made a promise to your girlfriend not to cheat on her and not to break her heart, and I really, really want to applaud you for being a stand-up guy and doing what you said you were going to do. That is a test of manhood. That is what makes a man, not how many beds you've been in. That does not make you a man. It makes you a hoe. So by doing what you said you're going to do, you're showing that you are a man who can commit. You're showing that you're a man of high morals and values, and you're showing that you can be a man that we can all be proud of, because you do what you say you're going to do. You got follow through, and that's very rare in this day and age, especially with someone so young. And so just this little kid, I mean, he's made of the right stuff. I think also as a parent, sometimes, you might worry, well, this relationship, might distract the kid from his studies or his sports or whatever. That is not indicated here, so I don't really know the answer to that question. But in my mind, again, that's when parenting comes in. You teach your child how to make sure that certain things are a priority, and to monitor their time and their attention that's diverted from whatever it is they're trying to do. Like, for instance, if your high school student needs a sports scholarship to go to college because you can't afford it, well, you just have to keep reminding him of that. Say, I'm all for you having somebody to love you, but what I want you to make sure that you stay focused on is that you need the scholarship so that you can go to college, so that you can make something of yourself as an adult. Love is good, but you're young, and you have to keep these things in mind and keep your priorities straight. Is if you ever find that you're facing a conflict of where you need to do something and your girlfriend wants you to do something, you're going to have to put her second, and she needs to understand that that's what time it is. And just communicate that to him. Show that you're supportive of his relationship, but show that as you're doing your role as a parent, which is to guide him to success for the rest of his life. And getting his scholarship and going to college will help him lay that foundation. You've got to do that kind of stuff. You can't just snatch your kids away and put them in a cage and thinking that that's going to make them be a whole and complete person. It just never works that way, especially at 16, 17, 18. I mean, that's prime relationship age, when people start really looking at the opposite sex and looking at getting something serious jumping off. They start to have sex and all this old stuff. So is something that you really, you really have to pay attention to, like this aunt is. I think also when you have a girl, long-term girlfriend boyfriend situation, talk to them and make sure that they're using solid birth control. This is not the time to be shy. Let them both know, you guys have goals for your future. We want to make sure that you're in a position to be able to pursue them unencumbered by the responsibilities of parenting and raising a child, because you're still children yourself. So let's keep this show on the road here. We got big things to do. We all about you guys being together because you're a nice little couple, and nobody's suffering and all this stuff. But you still, as a parent, you got to keep the kids focused. That's your job. So in this case, I would applaud the little boy, just to kind of sum up. I would applaud the little boy for his commitment to his relationship, for not listening to what they're talking about, and give him some support. He might be wavering. I'm sure he's confused because those are his uncles. He's trying to figure out. I've always trusted them and believed the stuff that they told me. What do I do now? So, you might want to give him a coping tactic to deal with this. You don't argue back. When you're a child and you got them adults like that, you don't argue back. What you do is say, shake their hand and say, thank you for the information. I'll take it under consideration. Or, that's interesting, Unc. Thanks for sharing your views with me. I'll think about it. Something like that. You basically blow his fucking ass off, but you do it in a way that's respectful, and that basically makes them think that they feel heard. And that's why people keep saying the same thing over and over and over. They don't feel heard. In a case like this 16-year-old is going to have to take charge of these 2 or 3 fool ass adult uncles, and he's going to have to manhandle them. He's going to have to handle them in a mature and responsible, psychologically dominating way, by making them feel heard. Don't say no to them. Don't argue back with them. Just, acknowledge that you heard them, and that you listened to what they had to say, and now you'll take it under consideration. You'll take it under advisement. That's an interesting concept. I'll have to give it some thought. Something like that. You basically just blow him off in whatever language he wants to use. And that would be my suggestion. This was actually very disturbing for me to read. I just hate to see more evidence of what I was saying about the older men corrupting the young ones. That's why we have so many young men fucked up now. It's just because the older dudes are fucking them up. And then they want to turn around and blame women. No, it's you that's doing this, because they're listening to you. They don't want to listen to women. They listen to you because you're supposed to be telling them how to be a man. But instead, all you doing is telling them how to be a fuck up like you. Knuckleheads. Anyway, this is Deb Cooper closing out another relationship emergency. I hope that this aunt and her nephew and the child's parents can, get the situation under control and shut these fool-ass uncles down and put them over in the corners and where they belong with the rest of the trash. Deb Cooper from survivingdating.com signing out.